The Grants begins with finger clicks and a count-in, as if we've wandered into a gospel choir's hushed rehearsal. The vocalist's initial attempt at the first line turns out to be a false start, the words misremembered. This could have been an outtake left on the cutting room floor, but instead it opens the song and the entire album with what Lana herself has called a beautifully flawed moment. It's notable that this juxtaposition runs throughout her back catalogue, the seemingly perfect facade not quite masking the imperfections behind the scenes. The opening draws our attention to the lyrics, not only the similar sounding mine and mind, but also the curious wording as a whole, which we'll return to later. The whispered double tracking and the audible breaths between vocal phrases help to create a sense of intimacy. This low-key approach means that when the singers do branch out into higher register harmonies near the end of the intro, the song is able to stretch its wings a little, while remaining restrained enough that there's plenty of room to heighten the drama later in the runtime. From there, we get a gentle piano accompaniment that seesaws between C minor and G major. Historically, we might expect those two chords to deliver a strong, definitive statement that we're in a minor key. Though it's a simplification, that's often associated with sadness. But instead, the roles are reversed, as C minor repeatedly ebbs into G major, which acts as a tonic chord here, meaning it feels like home. This harmonic movement adds a touch of melancholy to what feels like, at its core, a hopeful progression, like a warm recollection filtered through sepia. With the pre-chorus, we move into new territory, both harmonically and thematically. The spiritual lyrics draw a link to the gospel singers in the intro, while Lana's questions give equal weight to the lofty topic of the afterlife and to the narrator, in this case herself, as an individual. The progression now alternates between two major chords, D and C, compounding the optimism of the verses. When the chorus does enter, we settle back into G major, a welcoming arrival that matches the sentiment conveyed in the lyrics about finding comfort in family. Remember that G major is the home chord. By returning to it here, as she cherishes her memories of her family, Lana is making a kind of musical pun. Home is where the heart is. To some, the title may resemble something like the Hamptons, one of the many affluent places that Lana has so often sung about. But it's actually a reference to her family tree. She was born Elizabeth Grant, and her debut studio album saw her torn between that name and the stage persona she's come to adopt. The spelling may have differed slightly, but the idea was much the same. If the singles are anything to go by, Ocean Blvd sees Lana heading back in the direction she came from, holding her family closer than ever. Here, it's relatives rather than fame or glamour that appears to be driving her. The end of the second verse highlights this. As Lana sings about working hard for her loved ones, she adds soft vocal harmonies, complete with a neat ornament on the word for. Then the texture swells with the mention of her family line, stressing her motivation and easing us back into the chorus alongside the swooning strings. Let's return to the chorus lyrics, which seem so enigmatic in the intro, but now make perfect sense. If all Lana can take to heaven is memories, she'll take, in her words, mine of you with me. There's a satisfying symmetry there, with the wording rocking calmly from one person to the other, as if tracing the bond between them. In the intro, as we touched on briefly before, it sounds like at least one of the vocalists, panned towards the right, is singing mind rather than mine. Whether part of the official lyrics or not, that variation has a poetry to it as well. Take mind of you sounds like it should be an idiom, combining the ideas of both taking care of somebody and keeping them in mind. That interpretation would be fitting, given the subject matter of the song as a whole. It may just be a happy accident, but in that case it's another example of the beautiful flaws that Lana so loves. The bridge takes the focus on family even further, giving listeners more specific personal insights into two people who Lana holds dearest, her niece and her late grandmother. There's a clear sense of cyclicality here, an older relative moving on as a new one arrives. There's more symbolic relevance too. While recording her self-titled debut, which even included a song called Grandma, Lana held a photo of herself at the beach, crying as she sat in her smiling grandmother's lap. Lana may have made a career out of exploring the summertime sadness depicted in that picture, but The Grants is the song that comes closest to recapturing the original's heartfelt sincerity. For more analysis, you can browse the playlist, subscribe, and support Apocopop on Patreon. See you next time.